Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Thank you for coming tonight to talk and learn more about the Premier Publisher webinar and what Premier Publishers is and what Boom Passport is and how they relate together. So just give me a chat if you can hear me and see me okay. I just want to make sure that that is good to go. And we will get started here in just about a minute. All right. Again, people I know are getting settled. That's totally fine. You can hear and see me. Thank you, Melissa. I appreciate that. So thank you for spending your evening with me, or if you're watching the replay, of course, ask any questions. My email will be at the end if you missed something or if I did not get to something that has been on your mind. I will also be leaving some links in the chat that are very helpful for you as you are going through this application process. So I will make sure to link them in the replay email, but if for some reason you don't get it, just reach out to me and I will make sure that you get that. But let's get started. This should be only about a half hour. Shouldn't take too much of your time. It's just going to be a high level overview, but again, I am happy to go through your personal store and answer any questions that you have about the Premier Publisher program. So it is being recorded, and there will be an email follow-up with that recording sent and any links. Again, if you're coming in late or you need to leave early, that's totally fine. I will make sure that you get all of the information in the event that you need to leave or if you've come in late. So here's what we are to expect. We're going to talk about the Premier Publisher Program, kind of give a high-level overview of what it is if you're not familiar with it, those benefits and opportunities that you get as a Premier Publisher above everybody else, the requirements that we look for when we are selecting people to become part of our Premier Publisher Program, and then that application process we will talk about as well, just so that you are clear as to what those expectations are. And then, of course, at the end, we will give you a Q&A so that you can make sure that all of your questions are answered. And again, if for some reason I didn't get to them, you are welcome to email me. All right, so we are talking about the Premier Publisher Program, which is a selective program that Boom has put together, recognizing those creators on our platform that are creating really high quality, evidence-based resources that match school standards, that are really looking for that pedagogically sound, and really are as accurate as they possibly can be. We look for errors that are error-free as much as possible. Again, we know we are human, but we are looking for pretty rigorous standards, and not everybody is selected. So that application process is a little bit lengthy, but again, it is to make sure that you are willing to share that high quality and then show us that high quality that you can produce as a publisher. When appropriate, we do want these materials that you are creating with Boom to be aligned to educational standards because we are selling to districts, which we will get to in just a second. We are looking for high quality and design, that you've taken the attention to detail to truly create a really fabulous deck. I know I've seen lots of very creative decks out there, and so we really look for that when we include people in our Premier Publisher program. We are looking for more content in that secondary level and in special education. So if you fulfill any of those, likely you've already heard from me and I've reached out and said we really are interested in you. Um, what you get from this program, if you are accepted, is you do get a higher rank in search for increased visibility, which of course leads to more sales for you. That's what you want, right? So that opportunity for passive income through Boom Passport is what we're going to talk about in just a minute. But you do get an additional payout that comes from Boom Passport in addition to your marketplace sales. And then, of course, you get that exposure to schools and districts so that you can get the know, like, and trust factor as other teachers, other therapists are exploring your resources. That word of mouth is going to go around. Hey, have you seen this store? Go check it out. So that's really going to help you grow in your business as well. All right, so what is Boom Passport? I've said that, and it's confusing sometimes. Premier publishers are those that are our publishers inside our Boom Passport. Boom Passport is what we sell to schools. It is our annual subscription. so that they have a one purchase a year so that they get that curated library. Hopefully, yours are in there of those high quality Boom Card resources. Rather than having to make those individual purchases one at a time, we know those add up. Schools want this one and done that their teachers have access to through a subscription, and those resources are already embedded. So that's exactly what Boom Passport is. So let's talk about how they kind of go hand in hand to each other. So schools buy that subscription from us and subscribe to Boom Passport so that they can get those vetted decks, which we look through when we go through your store and through your application process to say, hey, these are of high quality, these are aligned to standards, these are really have high quality content in there, and you're going to want it, right? Versus using individual points. How it works for you is royalties are earned based on that Boom card usage. So the more schools that use your Boom cards, the more plays that your decks get, those royalties are paid out to you from that. That revenue is shared from that district subscription, but we handle all of that. We handle the sales, we handle the support, we handle the marketing for you, so you don't have to do anything additional. This is just, like we said, passive income that you can truly get as a part of the program, which is really nice. Um, it matters because, again, schools want that subscription. They don't want that individual purchase where they're constantly buying two $10 things. They want that consistent long-term subscription to go back to and have these resources readily available for them at their fingertips. Of course, publishers want that long-term earnings. They want that know, like, and trust factor so that schools are coming back to them and using their resources more and more. And then you get those royalties from that as well. Of course, we talked about Boom Passport being an annual subscription, and that recurring revenue comes in from schools versus one-time purchases here and there. We all get those emails as publishers where, oh, I just made $1, I made $2, right? This is more of a monthly payout that you would get with those royalties. So what districts are looking for right now is that specialty content for middle school and high school. Highly differentiated content. That's what specialty means there. Yes, academic, but differentiated for those upper grade levels, but also kindergarten and preschool level is what they're looking for as well. So modifying and being able to differentiate the materials so that it is accessible for as many students as possible. Of course, we are looking for that special education materials as well. Anything that relates to life skills, career and technical, or any transition age skills, any adults that are working in special education, that is what they're looking for right now. And then we are getting more and more requests about standards aligned resources and accessible content, which we will talk about in just a moment here. Okay, so let's talk about those program requirements that you have. We need you to have proof of at least 3 years of active classroom or therapy experience, whether that's based on your credentials, based on, of course, your years of experience, but you need to be able to prove that to us. We are not accepting homeschooling parents at this time because we are selling this to schools. We need to make sure that you have the credentials to create those materials that you are creating. You have to have an active publisher account. If it lapses, you'll lose the access. We want no strikes on your account. So that's typically for infringement or trademarking. And our team has reached out to you if you have a strike on your account. So if you haven't heard from us, then you should be in good standing. But I will reach out if for some reason something pops up and you do have a strike on your account. I will have to let you know that we will not be able to invite you to the program at this time. Your minimum requirements is you have to have 50 published decks. This does not include bundles. Bundles are not included in this. 50 decks as solo decks. And 25 of those have to have at least 2 accessibility features tagged. So that means you need to take the time to go in to do that visual, auditory, or audio and motor accessibility to your decks. Again, we will talk about that in a minute. There are tons of replays about how to do this if you are unfamiliar with how to add accessibility to your decks. But I am going to make a note here because this deadline is coming very quickly. Our premier publishers are expected to have all of their decks tagged by March 31st of this year. So that could be opted in, that could be opted out. And again, I'm happy to talk through your store specifically if you're not sure what to do with your decks and how to tag them. So again, if you do not meet any of these prerequisites, you will not get an invite for our program at this time. All right, let's talk about those accessibility replays. I'm going to put a link in the chat right now. That is all of our replays from this past year about how to add accessibility to your decks. I'm also happy to meet one-on-one with a Zoom call or a quick video call to go through your decks, and we can walk through step by step of how to add accessibility to your decks. That's what I'm here for. But those 3 replays are fantastic. And again, that link, if you are not watching this live, it is in your email. I'll make sure to send that out. All right, other things that we are looking for. So once you submit your application, it is great for you to know these ahead of time because I'm going to be looking for these. I'm the person who reads through those applications. And we need these things to be filled out before we can approve you. So I will give you these edits so you get a jump on it right now, which is fantastic. So that strong author bio is really what we look for. You have over 1,600 characters to use. That it needs to include your years of experience, any credentials, awards, certificates that you have. The age and grade level for your decks is a great added bonus so that somebody coming to your store knows exactly the grade level that you create for, or the subject area of your decks. Another great part of that. Because then I know I'm looking for science. Oh, your store is not science, so I can go somewhere else. It really helps clear out those people that are your people and brings in the people that truly are there for you. We also are looking for rich deck descriptions. It needs to be more than 50 words. So what I truly look for is at least 3 lines of text. It's kind of my rule of thumb. I do count if I need to go in and count for decks as I'm doing my audit, but try to get at least 3 lines of text there. It could be, this is great for centers. This is great for this grade level. Use this in your science class. Give more details about how to use it, why you would why you created it, and what this could be used for. Something else that people are missing a lot is that image and font acknowledgments. There is an acknowledgement section. It is not optional for our premier publishers. All your decks and all your bundles need to have proper acknowledgments for your clip artists, any subscriptions that you're using. If you're using images from Canva, you need to be able to note that. If you're using it from free websites like Pixabay or FreePix, you need to note that as well. We are looking for high quality designs. So you cannot have a single clip art image as your cover image. We are looking for catching covers for our decks, and that they need to be uniform for your store. So they all need to look the same or similar. And I can show you some examples of that if you need as well. Again, we've talked a lot about that high quality content. I am looking in there to make sure it's accurate. It could be aligned to standards, and it's really what schools are looking for. So standard alignment is also important. So tagging those as much as you can on any and all decks that it belongs to. And then, of course, we talked about those accessibility improvements. Make sure you do those as well. Once you are accepted into the program, it is a 1-year commitment, and there will be an FAQ emailed to you if you have any other questions. And of course, reading the terms of service before you agree to be in the program is also important. Other things that we look for that, again, are popping up more and more, which I needed to make it its own slide, is that correct trademark and wordmark usage. I will put that in the chat right now if you are unfamiliar of what that is. So this first one is the acceptable use policy for our publishers. And then this next one is our trademarking, and you can get our correct trademarked logos there. And it goes through the understanding of our wordmark. So if you aren't familiar with that, that is great to read up on. No old logos. So if you are familiar with the 2020 or 2021 logo, we no longer use that, and we do not accept that to be used on any of your covers or your products. We ask that you don't double tag that subject area, either SLP and SPED together, unless you have that certification to prove that you can tag both of those. But likely you have one or the other. There are some states that require you to have both, and that's fine. We understand that, but you should not be double tagging for a subject area that you are not qualified for. Following the AI guidelines. As things are moving up in the world with AI, we do have AI guidelines. We do not allow ChatGPT images. So if you are using those and you are not allowed to use those. So those would need to be removed and replaced with our acceptable AI guidelines. Something else that's coming up more often is that promotional links in your product or in your description. So we've seen a lot with maybe the last slide of your deck has a bunch of clip artists that you've used. That is not the appropriate place to use that. That needs to be removed. You cannot say, go to my website for more information. Things like that are not allowed in your bio or your descriptions or in your product. So those will need to be removed. However, you may add your email to your bio. If you have any questions or concerns, please reach out to this email if you feel comfortable doing that. No advertisements in your decks. Again, you can't say go to my TPT store. You can't say go to other places. We expect them to stay on the platform as much as possible. We are looking for not biased or discriminatory decks. And if you do have those or things with religious beliefs in them, we will have to ask you to remove them from our Premier Publisher program because that is not currently allowed. Okay. Let's talk more about our imagery. So here are some of the images that you are not allowed to use, that these are just for Boom use only. I know it's super cute, but our Boomy in the front here, he is only allowed for us. Same thing with the app logo. You may not use that on your covers, in your emails, on social media. This Premier Publisher star, the passport logo, the Premier Publisher badge, the Premier Publisher here, Boom Passport here. Those are all for internal use only. Those are not external use. If I see you using those, I will give you a warning to remove them as quickly as you can, but they are not allowed for you. Again, if you want the correct logos that you may use, double check that Boom Logos and Trademarks article, and those have all the images that you can use and download for your decks. The other one I wanted to point out is this Boom B in a circle. You are not allowed to use that. The only one you are allowed to use is in a square. You may not use the circle logo. You may not put it in a circle. You have to use it as a square, and make sure it is free from having anything behind it or overlaying it. So it should be free by itself, kind of like how all of these are. There's nothing overlapping or behind it. It's just a plain colored background. That's how your logo should be used if you decide to use them on a cover. All right, so let's go through some examples of what is allowed and what isn't, because sometimes visuals help. This is the old Boom logo that is no longer allowed to be used. So please make sure if you have any of those, they are immediately removed. Again, we talked about that speech language and special education tagged together. That also is not allowed. Again, unless you are qualified to teach those things. And then, of course, I'm happy to allow you to do that. This Boom B with the small TM next to it, that one is okay to use. We totally allow you to use that. And again, that is in that article. Here's what a great bio looks like. So she's got a lot of details about where she teaches, the grade level she teaches, what she creates materials for, why she's here, why she created this Boom store. She is a fantastic creator, and that's a great store to look at if you need some inspiration. And then here's a description with lots of details in it. It's got bullet points for our quick readers, people who are short on time, who want to know information about the deck, but maybe aren't reading full paragraphs. So you can totally break it up into different lines and use those dashes or bullet points so that it kind of makes it more clear. And then, of course, that acknowledgement section. This is the only place that we do allow that you put links to those stores because we realize those clip artists want the credit as well. And likely you got them from a specific clip artist on Teachers Pay Teachers or in our Boom store. So you are welcome to link there their TPT store or their website or whatever's in their terms of service. But make sure that you are following those guidelines when you are adding those acknowledgments, but you can add those there. All right, so let's talk about next steps here. You will receive an invitation from me tomorrow, likely, if you've met these basic requirements. I have tried to reach out to everybody who did not originally meet these basic requirements. Just so that your time was not wasted. However, you will get this replay tomorrow so that you have this information again at your fingertips. I will send over that application where you will need to fill that out. It does take some time. I would say sitting down maybe 10, 15 to 20 minutes, depending on how lengthy your responses are. It does take some time to fill out, so make sure you have some dedicated time to do that. And then once that submission comes in, I do these reviews, and it does take me some time to review your store, depending on how many decks that you have. Because again, I'm checking for the quality, I'm checking for making sure that they make sense and they have the correct content in them. I'm looking for everything that we've gone through, so it does take me some time to do, so please be patient. And then I will email you immediately after I do my review to ask about some changes that might need to be still made before I send it over to my legal team. Once you've made your improvements, I will send it over to the legal team. They will do one final review of the store and give me a yes or no. And if it's a no, I'll go back to you and say, hey, there's still some edits that need to be made. If it's a yes, you're in the program. You need to sign your contract and read through the terms of service and accept those terms of service as well. And then you are in. And again, that requirement will be for 1 year that you can be in the program. So just make sure that you know that you're going to be in for a year and your decks will be opted in. And it's almost immediate. Like, so once you accept it, within a couple minutes, you should have the badge right on your store and all your decks will be opted in unless there's a reason you need to go in and remove them, which there's a quick little toggle. You just turn that off. All right, and that is it for me tonight. What questions do you have? I will give it a couple minutes here and let you type that in the chat. Anything that I didn't go over, anything that I need to clarify. And if for some reason we don't get to your questions, you are welcome to email me. My email is there as well. And we can go through your store. I can go look at your store specifically and give you feedback of what needs to be improved before you fill out the application. Truly, I'm here to support you. So whatever questions you have, again, now is a good time to do that or email me. All right. The first question here is from Melissa. If you are accepted and create a new deck, does it automatically get added to the passport decks? Yes, so that toggle does stay on for decks. The only one that I'm noticing is bundles. Bundles, when you create a new bundle, it is automatically turned off. If you want a bundle to be a part of it, you will need to turn it on. So that's just a little button that you will see once you get in there. And then Vicky is asking, are we allowed to use images created in Canva? So double check those terms of service. If you have a Canva Pro account, I am hearing mixed reviews about yes and no, but please use your own discretion as you are using another platform. I know I use them in mine, but again, that's a personal choice that I've decided to use images in mine. And those of you that don't know that I am a publisher as well. So, but that's totally up to you. But yes, I have a Canva Pro account, which I've read the terms of service, and I believe, to what I understand, is that you can use Canva images. Of course. Any other questions? I see a question in the Q&A. Just going to move it over here so it's not in my way. Angela asks, I have decks in my store. Do I just need to make sure that 25 are accessible before I apply? So 25 need 2 or more accessibility filters. So yes, you need to make sure 2 or more of those tags are on. And your entire store, I'm going to tell everybody here who's applying now, your entire store needs to be tagged before the end of March. So you need to either opt them in or opt them out. And I'm saying opt them out by turning off those toggles for accessibility, not opt them out of Premiere, opt them out of accessibility. So you're turning off that visual, that audio and motor to be red. So that's what you would do if you do not have the time to make more than those 25 updates. So yep, that is what you need to do. Let me know if I need to clarify that one. I know that's a big one right now. Okay, any other questions? If not, that's totally fine. Again, if you are watching the replay, my email is there. If I've missed anything or you want me to clarify something, I definitely can. Um, mm, mm, mm. Okay. Angela asked another question. You mentioned that there are payouts. What type of payout does this look like? So you get paid out like the same way you do in the marketplace. So there will be a line item that says how much you've been paid out. And it will go, there'll be another line item that'll be your Premier payout, and it goes through your PayPal like it normally would. So it kind of comes together, goes through your PayPal. And then another clarifying question, I guess, how much money is it? So it truly depends on the publisher and how many decks you have, but it's based on usage. So how many schools are using your decks, how many plays your decks are getting. So there's a lot that goes into it, but I don't have a exact amount of what your payout will or could look like because it's different for everybody. Okay, I'll give it one more minute if there's any other questions. All right, we got one more. Is it possible to show dollars in conversion as GBP sterling too when paying out? Why don't you go ahead and send me that question in an email and I can ask our team about that. I'm not sure that answer. Okay, and then one more question here. Do we have to have every deck cover be similar, or is it fine to have the majority coordinated? We do want at least all of your decks to look like your brand. You can have them look slightly different if you have a series that you've created that kind of looks similar to other ones. Or if you want to keep them different colors, that's totally fine, but we do want them all to be as much similar as possible. If they look very different and look like they could come from different stores, we are going to politely decline. Okay. How do we prove our years of teaching experience? So once you fill out the application, it does ask you for that. And if we need more clarification, we will ask for certain credentials or certificates to prove that you have those years of experience and those credentials. So it's great questions, guys. Keep them coming. Okay. Angela says, I've been publishing on Boom for a very long time. Could you take some time to look through my covers and see if they look okay? Yes, why don't you go ahead and send me an email and I can do that tomorrow for you. Just to make sure that they look okay and they're following all the guidelines because I know there's a couple nuanced things. So yes, of course, that's what I'm here for. Okay. All right, any final questions? Again, take a screenshot if you haven't written my email down, because I know after this there will always be more questions that come up and you're like, oh, I should have asked that. And that's totally fine, but that's what I'm here for. So go ahead and reach out with any other questions. And thank you so much for being here. I love our Premier Publishers, and bringing more into our program is always really exciting for me. So again, thank you for spending your evening with me or watching the replay.